Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I hope everyone is doing alright this morning. I wasn't going to do the story first. It kind of just popped up on my radar as I was going about my research. But traitors! Traitors! Treacherous, Blair Right traitors. That's where we're starting this morning. It's 10:30 in the morning on the East, and we are starting with treacherous Blair Right traitors. A scheme, a plan, a meeting where cloaked figures of 12 got together in a posh village, or a posh farm, in order to discuss an overthrow and toppling of Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. This is one of many plans that have been plotted by essentially rats in the shadows trying to take down Labour leader Corbyn. The other one was by Margaret Hodge being the front person and was used as a screaming lunatic battering ram to essentially try to take Corbyn down with the blunt force of anti-Semitism. She had nothing to work with, so that plot didn't necessarily draw blood, even though it's something that they've assiduously stuck to with nothing to show for it. Now, this is another plot. This one is almost twofold, where they're discussing, hey, maybe we should let the Theresa May government collapse, and after the government collapse and Jeremy Corbyn takes the leadership, maybe we should just leave the party. Oh, what ways they're coming up with. How angry they are that Corbyn, that Labour, actually represents Labour. Think about that. Labour actually being what it says it is, as opposed to quote-unquote new Labour of the Blair Rights. Keep in mind the Blair Rights are the same people when Corbyn was running this contest, that they were telling him one thing through social media, while at the same token running a different campaign. It's possible that Corbyn lost that race, meaning not Prime Minister now, because of the tactics that they were taking place during the election campaign. But besides that, this is a little different. These are people who, under normal circumstances, will scream at the top of their lungs that you're supposed to support them, like the Joe Crowleys, but this time in the UK, while at the same token plotting behind the back of their leader. They are at a prime opportunity, meaning Labour, if it was united, to take power. You have a Theresa May government that's falling apart at the seams, collapsing, a zombie prime minister lurching from door to door, nobody knowing whether or not the next door will be her last. And as opposed to Labour getting behind their Labour leader, as opposed to Labour with flush with support because of the support that Jeremy Corbyn is bringing to the table, instead of them getting behind in this prime moment of opportunity, they look at this as a way to put a knife in Corbyn. Let's take a look at this story. Not shocked by this in the least. I mean, after all, you know, this was as secret as a bomb going off on the White House lawn. I mean, how secret is the plan when everybody, for the most part, knows that that's exactly what you're doing? It's a secret that everybody knows and everybody's been talking about, but somebody, for whatever reason, considers it to be a secret. Now, I give you this. They're meeting in the shadows. I guess I'm just trying to make the point that it's very clear that the Blair Rights don't want Corbyn in that seat. It is very clear, based on the actions that they've been taking, either during the election, either Tom Watson, either the screaming lunatic Hodge, that they don't want him in the spot. The Israeli that was kicked out of the country for essentially lobbying behind the scenes, breaking UK law, didn't like Corbyn. Didn't like the fact that you had somebody who was supportive of Palestine. There's a difference between being supportive of Palestine and anti-Semitic. A vast, great difference. Let's take a look at the story. They're embarrassing. Losing the party. Tony Blair, just so we can be clear, attached his country, vassal state of the UK, to a war that it had nothing to do with. And in that war that had nothing to do with, X number of Brits gets killed, 1 million Iraqis, 4,000 Americans, $7 trillion at least in counting, not to mention the money that Britain was paying for that particular war. I am making the point that Tony Blair took the Labour Party, ran it into a ditch, took a dump in the front seat of the car, and then closed the door for Gordon Brown in a closed car. It wasn't a Cadillac. Deal with it. And he's been running around the country free as a bird when he should be in a jail cell. And these are the people who say they want their party back. Let's be very clear on who we're talking about. Let's take a look at the story. I'm not going to keep this one long because this wasn't the original story. Labour MPs in secret plot. Can they oust Corbyn? Can they oust Corbyn? Rebel group repeatedly planned power grab at clandestine meeting in Sussex retreat. I love that. That's awesome. I love that. Jeremy Corbyn is facing another plot to oust him as leader of the Labour Party, according to inside sources. The Daily Express reports that a core group of around 12 anti-Corbyn Labour MPs have been planning a fight back during a secret away day at a quote-unquote luxury retreat on the Posh Sussex farm estate. Fair Oaks Farm is a $144 a night grade 2 listed farmhouse built in the 1600s, said The Sun. Right-wing political blog Guido Fawkes describes the venue as very Blairite. Very Blairite. What's the plan? What's the plan? They've been bringing their fingers together in somewhat of a conspiratorial fashion. What's the plan? A source at the meeting told the Daily Express, "We're getting together regularly to discuss how to take back control of the party." It is claimed attendees have included former leadership candidate Liz Kendall, former shadow cabinet members Chuka Anuna and Chris Leslie, a senior MP Stephen Kinnock, and Gavin Shuker. Politico's Jack Blatchard dismisses the plot as a jolly old caper made all the more comedic by the group's apparent lack of any method to which, actually deposed Jeremy Corbyn and win back leadership. Doesn't mean that them talking about it wouldn't necessarily formulate a plan. It's called brainstorming. I mean, after all, this idea of coming together and you automatically have a plan is somewhat nonsense. You brainstorm. That jolly old caper, if they came up with something, are you telling me they won't necessarily implement it? It's a clandestine meeting to take power from the leadership. That's what it is. Call it what it is. But an unnamed rebel MP suggested the group might simply wait for Corbyn election victory and then pull the rug from underneath him by forming a new party. Labour could win the next election simply because the Tories have made such a mess over Brexit, the MPs told the Express. If that happens, we will break away and either form a separate Labour Party with the Parliament or a new party. There are remaining Conservative and Lib Democrat MPs who are interested in joining us if we do form another party because of Brexit. This is not an idle threat. This is not an idle threat. They've been talking about this for the past few months. An unnamed MP admitted there might be a flaw in that plan, namely whether we would have time to create a proper identity before the election or if there would need to be an election soon after. In that sense, it is complicated, the insider conceded. However, another attendee at the meeting, leading Remainer Chris Leslie, told the Express that the summits are simply a forum to talk policy. We had a really positive policy discussion, Leslie said. I can't recall Jeremy Corbyn featuring in a discussion at all. How do you have a policy discussion without talking about the Labour leader? He's the leader of Labour. How are you discussing policy without him coming up at all? It's not the first time that the Labour leader has faced an uprising from the right of his party, the Blair Rights of the bunch. Nevertheless, despite the anti-Semitism role engulfing Labour, Corbyn is believed to have a greater grip on power following the surprise performance at the last general election and the changes to the party structure back in September. Indeed, it is hard to see how Corbyn can replace his leader, given that his position with the membership is even stronger now than it was in 2016 when he was challenged at the EU referendum and romped with 62% of the vote. Think about that. Labour, under Corbyn, has expanded magnificently. And instead of them saying, yes, We're consolidated. We have all of these new people in the labor, and we have a prime minister, or we have a prime minister in waiting that knows exactly what he wants to accomplish. And God damn it, we're going to do it. We're fucking labor. Yes, let's get some shit accomplished. Just change the world. A better society is possible. We can do this. Instead, it's the Blair Rights. Fuck, the new society is possible. We love the way this status quo is working, and we need to get power back from Jeremy Corbyn. He's actually going to try to change things for the better. We don't like that. The Blair Rights, whether you realize it or not, are not of the same class. They are of a different class, and they have different intentions and different things that they want to accomplish. They are extraordinarily close and friendly to business interests, which means that this idea of a party to represent labor, you're not going to get it under a Blair Right government. You had a Blair Right government. Where did that get you? Where did it get you? Got you into wars and got you into a crash-destroyed labor party. Do you want these people taking back control of the wheel when they don't even recognize that they did wrong in having control of the wheel in the first place? They wouldn't even call themselves labor. They call themselves new labor, trying to create a distinction between what labor is versus who they are. I would tell you that that distinction is important, and that distinction shows the difference between who Jeremy Corbyn is and why they're so asses in a bunch over Corbyn being the leader of this party, even though they are at a prime time to consolidate and take power. First time in, if I'm not mistaken, in like 10 years or more, like a decade. Secret plot, another one, taking down Corbyn by the Blair Rights. Be aware. I have additional shows that I'm going to do, so I'm going to keep this one short, and I will see you guys in like 5 minutes. Thanks, guys.